everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Hennessy. I created this channel to talk through all things working remote, traveling, and my number one topic, which is about investing in Dominican Republic. So we're gonna dive right into it today. Of course, if you guys have anything that you want me to talk through, please leave it in the comments so I can try to do a video about it. But for now, I decided that I am going to say a few stories for the next couple of videos to give you guys a bit of background. So for context, the house I started Airbnb with back in 2020 was given to me by my mom. You know, I'm my mom's only biological daughter, so parents, I hope you guys will set your kids up for success some way or another. Anyways, my mom had bought this house for $20,000. At the time, it was about 10-ish years from there, and then now it's like, what, 6 years later? So it's been about 16 years. My mom bought the house, and I'm gonna be totally transparent here about the situation, because I mean, it is what it is. Something I went through. So my mom purchased this house actually from my cousin, who had purchased it from a guy that was getting divorced. So for some backstory there, my cousin had just was wanting to buy land to build her home. She bought this house, or not the house, because there wasn't a house there, it was just land. She bought the land from a guy that was getting divorced. He had gotten the property within a settlement, and she bought it from him. She started to build the house, got into some financial trouble, as she always does, and family drama. I can go on and on about that, but anyways, she got into some financial trouble. My mom, who likes to help everyone out, my mom then comes in and purchased the property from her. Now, this is where all the issues come from. The guy that sold the property, it was from a settlement, right, as I mentioned, but my cousin and him didn't do the whole title thing. She just basically did something that Dominicans like to do, which I would never advise for, okay? But Dominicans like to buy property sometimes without a title and just do a act to sell type of thing. And it's still a legal document that says so-and-so is selling to so-and-so. However, it doesn't fully capture really the property shift in ownership, which is highly important. If you're gonna buy a property, you got to make sure the property has a title, and you have to make sure that title is clean, because if not, you're gonna be hit with the shit show that I was hit with. So she didn't do that. She just got a lawyer to do an act to sell. They did that. Fine, cool. When she sells to my mom, second mistake here, my mom, because it's family, right? Family, oh my God, family. My mom paid her $20,000 for the property, right? And did not change any paperwork. Yes, my great mother. She, family is family. So she obviously purchased the property from her, but no paperwork were created for this, nothing. Anyways, luckily my cousin, she isn't crazy, because she could have been, right? And she definitely knows that, the property was my mother's, although they never did anything. Anyway, we're gonna fast forward 2020. I've said this, I have other videos on it where I talk about my journey of doing Airbnb in Dominican Republic, and it all started with this house. I was traveling to DR a lot. I was staying in DR a lot. My mom was like, hey, why don't you have this house? The house wasn't in the best condition, so I took the house, I fixed it up, I added a pool, I closed it out. A total, at the time, it was literally mid-pandemic in 2020. I paid $30K with the pool to fix it, get the pool, all that. I paid an additional another $20K. Mind you, this is a bigger home, to furnish the whole thing. We're talking about 3 bedrooms, technically 4, because I added another bedroom, 3.5 bathrooms, living room, dining room, kitchen, a whole shebang, plus the backyard with the pool and all that. So in total, I invested a total of 50K, right? With the fixing it up, adding the pool, plus the furniture. Because I had it on Airbnb, if I'm honest, I got the 50K back through Airbnb. And yeah, but I've maintained the property myself. And, until last year, which I took it off of Airbnb last March, right? Now the property is just there with my stuff in it. I have a friend living there, and the property is still mine, right? All that to say that last year I tell my mom, like, hey, I did know that the stuff was still under my cousin's name, and I was like, hey, can I get these like paperwork, so I can start the process to maybe get it under my name, right? Because again, family, they're tricky. You just never know. And I just don't trust nobody. I'm gonna be honest. I don't trust nobody. I have that type of issue. Anyways, she then explains the process to me. I'm like, okay, let me get my lawyer involved. I contact my lawyer. Mind you, I started this process back in August. And the idea of the process was that I would fix all the paperwork, get the title under my name. You want to have again, if you buy in a property, you want to have a clean title under your name, because if you're the owner, you're paying for it, it's yours, right? It should be under your name. So back in August, I contact my lawyer. I let him know like the issue. He starts working on, trying to get the paperwork together. The issue, there was a whole thing. The thing becomes that the husband that sold the property, it was in a divorce settlement. They never submitted that paperwork that property was given to him through divorce for him to sell it. And so that became a whole shit show. They had to fix all that paperwork. Then they had to do it as if, the guy again sold to my cousin, and then again, my cousin was selling to me. All that, right? So all that mess, everything was fixed. But at the end of the day, that cost me a total of 280,000 pesos, which is an equivalent of about $4,500 to get all the paperwork fixed. And the reason it cost me that much was because I had to pay property taxes, because all this time property taxes were never paid, which you do pay at the time of selling a property or buying a property. You have to pay property taxes. And so that was never done, because the only thing that was done was the act to sell, right? So in the government's eyes, like, the owner of this property was actually still the wife. Okay? The owner, if you looked up the property in the system with the government, it said that the lady was still the owner of this property. Yes, because that's what happens when you don't do all the right paperwork. So, anyways, we did all that. I paid the 280,000 pesos. And the title is going to be coming out. Mind you, I started this process back in August. So we're talking about like literally the taxes were just paid this past week. I should be getting the title in the next couple of weeks. So it took since August, let's say through March, for me to be able to fix this issue and pay what I had to pay. So there's a few lessons here learned, especially for my mom, because, I could have told her this, but obviously at the time I was a teenager, or maybe not a teenager. I must have been like, I don't know, like 18 maybe. So my mom, obviously, she does the best that she can. She doesn't have any like formal education or anything like that, and she just really be doing things. And at the end of the day, it was her way to help her family. Yes, and I say her family very loosely, because we know family would just, I don't trust nobody. So, a lot of mistakes were learned. I definitely sat down with her and I was like, this is why you don't do this, right? These are all the issues with what you did. Hopefully she gets it. I don't know if she did, because at her age sometimes, like, she still does what she wants. But I've definitely learned a really good lesson of I will never buy a property that doesn't have all the paperwork in order. I also, one thing that I would probably make a video on is taxes. You do have to pay property taxes in Dominican Republic. I don't know why people, I don't know. Do they not know? Do people not know you have to pay property taxes in Dominican Republic? Someone please enlighten me. But yes, that was a funny story that I recently went through and I wanted to share and be transparent with you all. I hope that was, I don't know, either funny or it was a good story. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you guys want to see any other type of content, please leave it in the comments below. I would truly, truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you all and see you next time. Bye.